You know, when you get a positive review, it's so easy to think, great, job done. A happy customer, a happy ending. But what if that's not the end of the line at all? What if it's actually the starting point for building some serious public trust and showing every potential customer out there just how much you really care?
Just think about that for a second. A business gets a glowing 5-star review. They feel good about it, maybe for a minute, and then they just move on. But that silence, it's a huge missed opportunity. That praise is an incredibly powerful asset. And honestly, most businesses are just letting it sit there, gathering dust.
I mean, just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got this awesome review just sitting there, in silence. It feels a little lonely, right? Almost like an echo. But on the other side, that same review gets a reply. And instantly, that business feels alive, they feel engaged, they feel genuinely grateful. That tiny little action changes everything. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into today.
All right, so let's really get into why these replies matter so much, because this isn't just about having good manners or being polite. This is a fundamental part of managing your reputation out in the open where everyone can see it.
Think of it this way. Every single positive review is basically a gift from a customer. It's free advertising, it's social proof, and it's this little seed of trust that they've planted for you in public. And when you ignore that gift, it's not just a little ungrateful. It's a totally wasted chance to help that trust grow. A simple reply actually sends out 4 really powerful messages, all at once. First, it signals that you're active, that someone's actually home and paying attention. It proves you're engaged with your customers. It reminds everyone that, hey, there are real, living, breathing humans behind the logo. And maybe most importantly, it shows you appreciate the very people who keep you in business.
Okay, so we've established that replying is pretty much non-negotiable, right? But just dropping a generic thank you is the bare minimum. It's polite, sure, but it doesn't really build anything. The real magic, the real power, happens when you move beyond that and get specific.
So that thank you on the left, it's fine, but let's be honest, it feels like a bot could have written it. The reply on the right, though, is a whole different story. It feels human. It sounds like a real person actually read the review and connected with what the customer was saying.
This is where it all clicks. By repeating the specific words from the original review, words like smooth and helpful, you're proving you're not just skimming your reviews, you're actually listening. And that one simple act makes the whole conversation feel genuine.
So yeah, that's it. Specificity. That's the secret sauce. It's what separates a kind of bland, low-effort reply from one that is actively out there building trust for you. It forges that human connection just by showing you took a moment to really hear what your customer said.
Okay. Now here's where things get really, really interesting from a strategy perspective. Because when you sit down to write a reply, you probably think you're just talking to one person. Well, you're not.
Of course, you are replying to the person who left the review. You're thanking them, you're making them feel heard. That part is absolutely true.
But the real audience, the much bigger audience, it's every single potential customer who is scrolling through your reviews later on. Your reply is now part of the public record. And it's a little performance that shows the world what kind of business you are. And think about what that tells them. It says, hey, this business pays attention. It says they actually care about the customer experience. It shows that you're professional and that you're present and active. These are massive public trust signals, and they are worth their weight in gold. And you can be super strategic about this. If a customer says your communication was amazing, echo that back in your reply. If they loved how fast and friendly your service was, mention that. Over time, you're actually helping to write the public story about what makes your business so great.
All right, we've covered the why and the who. Now let's get down to the how. Here is a super simple winning formula you can use for pretty much every positive review that comes your way.
Look, every really great reply has 3 simple parts. First, you start with genuine appreciation. Second, you drop in that specific acknowledgement we just talked about, prove you were listening. And third, you just wrap it up with a warm, friendly closing. That's it. That's the whole formula.
Now, it's all about finding that sweet spot, right? You want to be warm, you want to be clear, and you want to be concise. If your reply is too short, it can feel a little robotic. But if it's too long, it starts to feel kind of weird and unnatural. The goal is to just sound like a thoughtful human being.
And remember, one great reply, that's awesome. But a whole pattern of great replies, over and over again, that's what builds a rock-solid reputation. When potential customers scroll through and see you responding thoughtfully, time after time, it creates this deep, lasting impression of professionalism and care.
So let's just pull this all together for a second. A good response is never just a thank you. It's a public demonstration. It shows you appreciate your customers, it reflects their actual experience back to them, and it proves to everyone watching that your business is attentive, professional, and ultimately human.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Go take an honest look at your own review responses. Are they actively building trust with every single person who reads them? Or are they just filling space? Because the answer to that question could make all the difference.